Hi everyone, I'm so excited to share with you this new project I've been working on. I just went on vacation and I already have my pictures printed, and now I'm going to put them in this album for you. This is just a gift shop album that holds 4x6 photos, and I'm going to fill it with my pictures with a Project Life style twist to it, I guess I can say. So I'm just going to walk you through this process and I hope you enjoy. So to start, I'm taking a lot of these scenic photos from the beautiful Hawaii that don't need much embellishment, and I'm using these mostly as my title cards. So I'm just very simply going to add a couple stickers to this one to start off my album. These are some very old stickers from Doodlebug. And then I'm going to stamp the date. And here I sort of messed up, which again, I'm just going to go with it though. I'm using StazOn ink, which is the correct ink, so it won't smear after you stamp it. But while I was stamping it, since this was a date stamp, I sort of rolled, which is what I'm used to, and then I smeared it. But I just left it alone. And then I'm just going to simply add my journaling right on the photo, and just for a little interest, I'm using pink ink instead of black. And this is my Smashbook marker, which I found works excuse me, good on the photos without smearing. So here I printed some pictures using the PicMonkey app to get 2 3x4 photos on a 4x6 layout. And I'm just adding a sticker with some journaling. These are Teresa Collins stickers, and that finishes that pocket. So I'm keeping all these very simple so that I can quickly go through this album. So here's my next spread, and so I just have some cardstock here, and I'm just going to add my journaling. And in this journaling, I'm going to add some stamping just to add some interest. So these are some very old Stampin' Up! Stamps, but I love them. I'll show you here. They have the uppercase and lowercase all on one block, which is what I like. So I'm just going to stamp it in some Hero Arts ink, just to draw attention to it and to break up my journaling. So now I'm taking this roller stamp from Stampin' Up! And I'm going to stamp these sunglass images. And again, just to mix things up, I'm using my markers to get 3 different colors on each sunglass, rather than just one color, and just rather than going with black. Again, I want to add a little bit of interest to this card. So you see how I kind of roll my stamps? That's what I'm used to doing. So anyway, so here's a sticker I have from an old stamp set, a sticker set. I don't even know where it came from now. And just adding a little bit more embellishment with my markers. So I'm just adding these dots from Stampin' Up! On the 4 corners of this photo. I didn't want to cover up the photo, and that finishes that spread. So you see how these are moving along. These are my Post-its I got from the gift shop there in Maui. I love them. They're so cute. And I initially chose this little hula girl, but later I changed it just because of color. This is some designer paper from, I think it's My Mind's Eye paper pack. And I cut it out. And then I glued down that Post-it note with the other Hawaiian girl with the blonde hair. And then now I'm just adding some washi tape, and then I'm just going to write directly on the washi tape. And that finishes that card, or that picture. And this picture, I just took a little piece from that Recollections pad, and then I just journaled on it. And here I'm going to add some stamping. I'm using this Lawn Fawn set and my Bic alcohol markers, which I'm just trying to get into a little bit more with my alcohol markers, as you'll see in my next future parts. I'm trying to blend and learn how to do all this a little bit. So I'm just practicing and playing around here and mixing a few colors. And so I'm making these flowers orange with orange tips and the soft yellow. And then just trying to blend those out. And it turned out okay. These Bic markers are pretty good for being cheap markers, so I like it. Very simple. And these are small images, so no big deal here. So then I just fussy cut all those out, and then just use some glue dots to stick them down. And I did a similar thing with these flowers in my pregnancy album, and I liked the way it looked, so I'm sort of repeating what I did. So I'm just going to trim these off so it fits in the pocket. And then the upper left corner was a little plain, so I just added another flower with the leaf. So I just did the same thing one more time. And there's that photo, all done. So on to the next page. This one I'm keeping very simple. I'm using a Project Life card next to a 3x4 photo. And this is what I typically do. I just tape them in the back with some washi tape so that they don't move. And this is another scenic photo. These are die cuts of a cloud in the sun from Paper Tray ink. And I cut the clouds from vellum, and then I just glued it down, and you can see the adhesive, so I'm just using these dots to kind of hide it. I wasn't too worried about it, but anyways, that's why you want to use a different adhesive when you adhere vellum, but I wasn't being too particular about it. So I just wanted to cover up some of that black in the photo. So that's that spread done. As you can see, I'm moving along in this album so quickly, and I love it. Now I'm doing some more stamping on vellum here. This was a Dear Lizzie stamp set. And then I had those heart sequins from Stampin' Up. I just glued those directly to the photo using the same glue pen. And that finishes that card there, or that photo. And now I'm taking some more alphabet stickers from Studio Calico to add a title on this photo, just with a punch of a heart. Very simple. This one I'm adding the stamp set, and I think I forgot what it was from. I'm sorry, I just showed you too quickly. And again, I'm going to stamp directly on the photo in the black StazOn ink. Again, because I didn't want to cover up the photo, so I really want the photos to stand out. So bravery test here, and they turned out okay. So smear just a little bit, but it turned out okay. I'm fine with it. And then again, just for a little more visual interest, to break up the water on this page, I'm adding these pearls from Stampin' Up. And they're small. They do add a little bulk when I put it in the page protector, but it's not huge, so it's not a big deal. And so this one is done. And now I'm adding some paper scraps to the bottom of this photo, just to add some journaling. My son loved boogie boarding. This was his second time, and he actually did much better this time. So he had so much fun, he didn't want to stop. So I'm just writing that on my journaling. And in my journaling, I'm mixing up my handwriting. And one little tip to make my title sort of stand out is I write it once, and then I go over it again just to kind of make it bold. And I just take your time and just trace it again, and it adds a nice contrast to just basic journaling. So just a little tip there. I inked up the edges with some Distress ink just to soften the edges so they weren't stark white, and then just glued it down on my photo. So here's my next spread, and I just took some paper strips, and here again you'll see me taping these photos together as usual. This is what I do. And then I took the same paper strip and I added it to the top of the photo, but you couldn't see it, so I just edited that out. And now this is my journaling page. So I'm going to do some stamping and embossing. So I'm using my anti-static pad there. And these are Lawn Fawn alphabets. This is my favorite one. I think it's called Claire's. And so I'm stamping it in Versamark ink. And I couldn't see because the pattern's so busy, so I had to put the powder on so that I could see where my letters were. And then I'm using silver embossing. And then I added my journaling. And that little push pin was from a Snap collection. I just cut it out, and then I inked up the edge of it so that it contrasted because the color blended too much with this background. And so I just inked up the edge so that you can have a black border. So there you can see this spread here. And this one, again, I really wanted to use washi tape on this layout here. So what I'm taping down is a little scorecard. We played the card game Spoons that night, so I kept our little scorecard. It showed that I won against all the kids. And it also had the hotel we stayed in, or the resort we stayed in the corner. So I thought it was kind of a nice little touch to scrapbook. So I'm just adding washi. And I'm adding it to the photo as well, just so that it matches. And these are vertical, even though the in the page they're going to be horizontal. But that's why I put two verticals next to each other, so that when you turn the book to look at it, both pictures are in the same orientation, if that makes sense. I'll show you the flip through at the end of all these parts when I get this entire album done and recorded for you. So here again, I'm just adding my handwriting to sort of be my title. And so again, I'm doing the same thing. I wrote it once, took my time, and then I'm going back over it to darken it up. And this is the American Crafts pen, and I believe it's in the 03 thickness. So I just did that for those 3 words. That's just all my handwriting, and I'm just kind of adding a little doodles just to break up the colors a little bit. And that finishes this title. And here, oh, I just add the date, I believe, here up on the top. Yeah, and that's it. So that finishes these few pages. I hope you've enjoyed this Vacation Hawaii Project Lifestyle album, and stay tuned for part 2.